Hi guys, this is a Henlong King Tiger with a smoke issue. Now everything was working fine. Um, I don't know if you remember, I've got a loft conversion, so everything is stuck up in the loft. Now it got so hot up there, although I had the window open, and when I got the tank down to have a run of it the other day, no smoke. So I thought maybe the smoke unit had dried right out. That's why I wasn't getting any smoke. So I opened it up. It was pretty dry, but it's got to be, this doesn't need to be full of oil to work. That cotton in there just needs to be moist, and the wick sucks the oil up. If it's soaking in oil, if that's full of oil, it can't get hot enough to smoke. So that wasn't the issue because I put some oil in there. And when I turned it upside down, it started to smoke. And then when I put it back up this way, it stopped smoking. And I thought, oh, maybe I've got too much oil in there. I put some oils directly on the wick when it was upside down and it worked. And then when I turned it over, now you've got to be careful here because it's so thin. If I get this to focus. Too close. All right, so you've got two little wires there. And when I touched that, I saw the tiniest little spark on there. Now, I'm not sure if that's focused or not because I need to go and get my eyes tested. Anyway, if that's focusing. Yeah, so that little wire in there was sliding in and out, and you could see some green in there. Now, the trouble is, when they solder these things up, they obviously, because they're mass produced, they do it pretty fast. You could see it was green where the flux had corroded slightly and that solder joint had broken. So I've just put a dab of solder. You have to be careful because that wire is so thin. Put a little dab of solder in there. And now she's back up and running again. So when you put that back together, you've got to make sure you put that white gasket on there. Now that doesn't want to be, that wick has just got to be touching the cotton just by a little bit, just to suck the oil up. If there's a massive gap, it won't wick the oil up. So you've got two reasons why it's not going to smoke. You haven't got any oil in there, or you've got too much oil in there. But now there's a third reason. You need to, if you take all the oil out of there and it still doesn't smoke, you need to check those wires, make sure that you've still got a connection. There's always one of these top wires might have broken off, but they just solder onto that main coil in there. So inside that wick is just a little coil of wire. It just gets hot and causes it to smoke. Anyway, I don't know if you've seen inside these tanks before. They're quite simple to take apart. This has got 6 main body screws, and it does have 2 which you can't take out if you've got the rear wheel on. Now, because I'm in the middle of painting this and everything, I've left those 2 rear screws out, because I've cut a hole in here and I'm going to pass the charging wire, because this new battery on the Mark 6, I'm going to pass the charging wire up. I've got an extension to fit on that, and then I'm going to cut a hole up there in one of the cupolas and fit the charging wire up there, so I can then charge it through the turret without having to tip it over, open the battery box up and plug the charger in there. So I never have to go into the battery again. Because I'm also, as I said before, I'm going to take the on-off switch, which is down there. And if you see it, I'm going to take the on-off switch and I'm going to mount that up inside one of these turrets here. So you can see that that's where the driver sits, that's his magnet. And so I'm going to fit another one here with that on-off switch, so I can open that hatch, turn it on and off without turning it over. It's all right turning it over, but once you start fitting stuff on the top of the tank and you've got it painted and everything, you don't want to, the more you manhandle it, the more you're going to damage stuff. So even getting this tipping over here, where I've got that magazine on the top here for the main gun. You snap it off. I was just digressing slightly. Anyway, so that's the smoke unit fixed. Cheers guys, bye.